everybody. I hope you all had a good week. While it's on my mind, please be sure to like, subscribe, share, and feel free to always put stuff in the comments and everything. Um, I hope y'all had a good week. This has been a long, rough week for me. Um, like the past 3 days, I had a migraine, and I get migraines anyway. Bad, like diagnosed. Like I had to see a neurologist and everything. It's a stress response, but it's just been rough. Um, Sometimes music soothes the soul. Michael Jackson, "Blame It on the Boogie" on Apple Music. I don't know, for like 30 minutes. It was almost like that pain just disappeared just listening. Like sometimes you just get like, I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's neither here nor there because that's not what y'all are here to talk about or listen to. Anyway, so let's get started. All right, so Love During Lockup, Got You a User, Season 4, Episode 47. So let's start with Savannah and Jay. Oh my gosh. These people, is it just me or does Savannah's face, and I'm not trying to like, okay, Savannah's face looks like that of a midget. What do you call them? A small person now, a little person now, but like it's a midget. Like her face is structured like that, except for she's tall. Like I'm so confused by her. But anyway, so we get Savannah. She calls Jake and tells him about his friend. I think his name is Tim. That got up and left, and says she doesn't know why. And Jake claims he doesn't know either. First of all, like I said last week, it may be all them damn cameras and shit that are around. Nobody is trying to perjure themselves on TV. Like that's girl, okay? Hell, for all we know, Tim could be the one involved who wrote a letter against Jake to make sure he stays in prison since he was the one getting in trouble with him too. I mean, we just don't know. So Savannah starts crying after Tim left. And honestly, that is embarrassing. I'd probably be in my car crying. I just wouldn't have no goddamn camera crew recording it. And you know when you're in your car, sometimes you have like, you usually only have napkins like in the glove compartment. And I could tell she was wiping her face with like a napkin. I was like, girl, your eyes gonna be burning underneath for the next 24 hours. But okay, girl. Anyway, so she decides she wants to put salt in her own wound. So we have nobody to blame but Savannah. All right. Now, how did she do this? Well, she goes by Jake's mother's house, saying she just really wants to be seen and wants his mother's stamp of approval on their relationship. Bitch, you can't even get this woman on the phone. I don't even know why you want this woman's approval. Hell, she raised a criminal. She can't be no better. She got the nerve to have hot standards. Where were them standards when her son was getting in trouble? Okay, girl, girl. Girl, I'm trying to help you. Okay. Anyway, so if you know this woman doesn't like you, what the fuck are you doing going by her home? First of all, I'm just watching that. That shit is weird and scary, and I would not want nobody rolling up on me like that. How did you get that address? Did Jake give it to you? Did you get it on the white pages? Like, what are you doing, Savannah? That woman would have every right to react all kinds of crazy if you showed up in her home at her home like that. And then you call to leave evidence for her to press charges against you. Oh, both of y'all about to be locked up. You keep playing around. So then Savannah's leaving this long ass message and tells his mother she's in Waterloo and I'm kind of in the neighborhood when she was right outside the house. Despite what Jake told her about not going to the mother's house. Jake calls her later that same fucking day, right? And he asked her how she doing. She goes, well, I had a bad day. And he was like, why? I wanted to go, bitch. She just told you earlier that day that Tim left her at that dirty ass diner on camera. That's why she had a bad day. What do you mean, why? And then she tells him she went by his mom's house despite what he told her. He straight up said, you are stupid. I didn't even think that was funny. I was watching the episode. Now I say it out loud. He was like, you are stupid. I told you not to do that. He was like, and you deserve it when it blows up in your face. Savannah, red flags. Okay? First of all, the fact that you don't know any of his family members, He has kept you from probably the closest person in his familial life, which would be his mother. Says to me all you need to know. This ain't the relationship. Go find you somebody else in Waterloo, Iowa. I just go find somebody else. Go back and find that guy that was in the band that was telling his mother all your business. Anyway, she says, well, look, I'm trying to help you. What do you want to do? Stay in prison for the next 5 years? He was like, well, that's the plan. That was going to be the plan either way. Let me tell you something, baby. When I heard that, that would have been all I needed to hear. I'm cool on it. You want to be in prison? You have fun with that. I'll be living my life. Like, Savannah, you keep creating a problem where there doesn't have to be. Okay, so Savannah's crazy ass goes to hang out with her friend. And these people, despite having friends that have sense, that make sense, that try to, tell him like, girl, they do not listen. I don't even understand why they're friends with these people. But anyway, so Savannah's crazy ass goes hang out with her friend and brings Jake a cutout of Jake's head with her that apparently her sister bought her. And she said, whenever I have it, it makes me feel better. Girl, get your dumb ass off this show. What the fuck is with these grown women in car? At least Jade is married to the motherfucker. She got a cardboard cutout. I just can't with this. So she tells her friend about, and her sister sounds stupid too, but I ain't gonna even go there because I ain't seen her yet. Or did we meet her sister? I don't know. So she tells her friend about the meeting with Tim and how he left her at the diner, okay? And trying to go by Jake's mom's house. And her friend was like, okay, where do you see this going? Okay? She said, well, she wants them to get married in prison. Her friend is like, why? To her face. And then they have, the camera crew confession or whatever. She was like, they never lived together. They don't hardly know each other. Like, getting married is like, why would she do that? So Jake calls while she is at her friend's house. And the friend was like, straight up, like, how come you don't want to marry Savannah? And he said he doesn't want to attach their special moment to this place, like prison. Okay. Now, if he would have just said that, we could have rocked with that lie for the next 5 years because the way Savannah going, she going to rock with it for as long as she can. Then he says he doesn't want to be committed right out after prison. First of all, whether he said that or not, we have seen relationships unravel on this show way too many times because of that. Anybody who's been locked up like that needs to reacclimate to life. Period. Okay, they just do. And he said, well, I don't want to be committed right out of prison. He doesn't even want to be in a relationship right out of prison. Fuck marriage. And he said he wants to explore other women physically. And her friend was like, well, I understand that, but I also don't. Because Savannah's been really good to you. And Savannah looked like she wanted to cry again. And the friend was asking all the right questions. So the friend was like, this doesn't sound good. And Savannah was like, well, he didn't exactly say that. I was like, Savannah, baby, you are stuck on stupid. And that preview for next week when she is trying on wedding dresses, I am done. She has got to be the most delusional chick I've seen on this show in a minute. And that is stiff competition because I just feel like she is, what the fuck is she doing? All right. We didn't get any Andy and Brittany this week. Good. All right. So Jade and Chris. All right. So they're driving from Minnesota to South Dakota to actually see Chris. See, I thought Chris was going to be like up in some prison in Minnesota. I have never thought about taking that drive. And she was like, yeah, it's like 5 or 6 hours. And I was like, Minnesota to South Dakota, nothing to nothing. Unless you're in Minneapolis. But okay, girl. So, whatever. So, Jessica, her sister is just not for the shit. And you know what? It's important to have people like that in your life, telling you the truth. So, she brings up how the house and stuff is not in Jade's name. And she was like, that doesn't scare you? And she was like, well, he told me if we ever got divorced, he would split things 50-50. Okay. Most divorces are acrimonious. Okay. Most divorces are not nice. Even prenups, people will fight those legally. They can be changed. Postnups, things can be changed. People don't usually get divorces that are peaceful. They just don't. Okay? So I can tell you right now, no. Okay, wake up, wake up, wake up. So her sister's like, did you ask him this stuff? Like, she was like, well, I did. And then she was like, but I do think if I was more independent, I wouldn't be in this position. You think? You think? Even if you just had a little job, you would still be better off because there wouldn't be no gap in your resume. So then she starts talking about how she is. Jay starts talking about herself and how she's different from all her friends, and that these should be the best years of her life. She's like in her early 30s. And she should be going on dates, developing a career, having kids, and she feels like she has missed out. I was like, Jade, baby girl, you are 33. Okay, I remember having a real crisis when I turned 30. And I know maybe to some people that's funny, but when I tell you I was really having an existential crisis, I am 35. I will be 36 in December. And guess what I've learned? Life gonna go on. And you can rebuild your life. You have not lost that many years in terms of like just building a career, and you white. Shit, ain't nobody gonna be asking you all the kind of extra questions they be asking black people in job interviews and we be overqualified. Don't get me started on that. Anyway, so baby girl, look, I understand why you're upset, Jay, and why you started crying, because I think it's catching up to you how bad this situation may be, especially once he gets out. But you are still young. That joker isn't even out of prison yet. And your family is close. And by that, I mean close knit. Get the fuck up out of there. You can start over. And her sister was like, look, you need a plan B. Start saving money. She was like, yeah, like in a separate account. Like he doesn't know about. Duh, bitch. You should have been doing that. I don't give a shit about y'all having a joint account. Where's that money go? Oh, I spent it. I damn sure wouldn't have been telling. See, these are the things that you see. Young women have to be taught this. My mother always said, make sure you have your own money. Even if you have a separate account, you don't have to tell anybody about it. Even when you're married, just always keep your own money, just in case something never happened. And that's that good old Southern black woman, go to church every Sunday wisdom, okay? Just in case he ever start acting up, you can get up and go, all right? Woo. Okay, so anyway, then her sister's like, look, maybe you should start buying a bunch of expensive jewelry, stuff you can resell and get the money back if you need to start a new life. And at first I was like, but why even bother? Just put that money away. But I guess if he's able to see, like, purchases, maybe that's what she's thinking. And this is an example of economic abuse, the man trying to control the money. And it also, to me, just reifies how abusive relationships really start out more mental than physical, and that's why it's still hard for people to leave. Because this motherfucker's in jail. She's only known him locked up. And she's, like, scared of leaving him and stuff, and he's still controlling her, fucking up Jessica's birthday party and shit. So, like, there's a lot of, just different kinds of unhealthy red flags. All right, so who do we want? I'm just going to do Renika and Asante because there's not much with them tonight. But Renika, I was at least hoping you had a show planned in Atlanta so we could say that this bullshit ass vacation y'all might as well be on, because it ain't no way you gonna stay here. Renika's dumbass has booked a hotel close to the prison to meet Asante the next morning. The next morning when her kids are having their first day at school in Atlanta, Georgia, a city they are not from, have no friends in, while they stay with their mother's friend who they aren't necessarily as close to as their mother. This all sounds great, right? Of course not. So she only has one family contact, okay, with this man that she's been in a relationship with for like, what, over a year? And doesn't even know this person. And I'm going to tell you what threw me off. When she said family contact, she didn't say cousin, she didn't say aunt, she didn't say brother, she didn't say sister. So even family contact was given like vague, right? That's like something you put on a job application. And she doesn't even know this person. but they are supposed to split or help with the bail to get him out or whatever. And I was like, this sounds like some bullshit that he wouldn't have known that they owed this kind of money. Maybe he was expecting that Renika wouldn't have it and would just go back to Kentucky or whatever. So she's driving to the hotel and tries to call him, and his phone is disconnected. Now, mind you, she's been able to video call him while he playing video games, talking to her homegirls, doing Instagram and everything else. So she calls the prison and asks about her fiance. That's how she's describing him, fiance. And if he's at the prison. The guard was like, no, he's not here. He was released. And he was released yesterday. She kept saying, yesterday. I said, yes, bitch. While your kids are sad and trying to adjust to a new school away from their grandma, their aunts, their family, their grandfather. Here you are chasing their invisible step/foster/prison dad. And this ninja is out of jail and didn't tell you nothing. He created a story to keep you busy. Renika, baby, what is wrong with these people? So Renika is finding out that Asante is not in the prison and has been released. Her dumb ass is like, well, maybe he got let out and he's walking up the road by himself. Renika, you are not that goddamn stupid. And if he was, shit, it was 24 hours ago. What is wrong with you, girl? Girl, this is not a good look, and this will be on film forever. What are they paying y'all to look this dumb? Anyway, I would have preferred to see Renika on like a Love and Hip Hop or something. That may have been more up your alley, baby. But ain't nobody trying to do a Love and Hip Hop Kentucky's. We know Love and Hip Hop is dying out anyway. Okay, so what else happened? Oh yeah, and then she was like, maybe he's walking up the road by himself, or maybe some bitch came to pick him up. Girl, this is one of those times I really need you to sit in the fact that you did something really, really dumb and stupid. Okay? And she's still not getting it. Right? So she gets in touch with Asante's family member. It says, and the person who answers says, I think you had the wrong number. First of all, the person sounded like the average Joe Blow white boy over the phone. It didn't sound like somebody that would have been Asante's like cousin. I'm just saying. You know, families are mixed, but he was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? He hangs up because he don't know who this is. Or they were joking and they just don't care. But anyway, yeah, so she's complaining outside. She's like basically screaming, going off. She's complaining about how it smells like piss outside. And I was like, chick, get your ass back in that air conditioning car, drive back down the highway and keep on going. No, she couldn't do that. She was still on the phone outside. And I'm just sitting up here like, at this point, she calls her sister and her sister says, it sounds like you got you a user. And she was like, well, I don't know this and the other. Her sister said, this is not looking good for you. And she hung up. Renika, everybody told you. Everybody told you. This is not one of those things where people were encouraging you, despite the fact that it was stupid. Everybody told you this was stupid. Period. So, as far as I'm concerned, you need to quit complaining about the piss outside at the truck stop. Just get your ass back in that car. Call the movers, ask them to turn this stuff around, pay whatever fees you have to. Go back to Louisville. Tell your family, April Fools, I got you. And just move on, because that shit is a goddamn mess. Anyway, let's get to Brittany and Curie. Yo, this relationship is toxic as fuck. I'm sorry. Brittany, you another one. I'm feeling sorry for you already because I know this shit gonna get worse. All right, so Brittany is crying on the bed because Keurig hasn't called her after hanging up on her for being late to their video call. Whatever. Okay, get over it. Okay, you're in prison. You need her. Okay, girl, you are too young to be involved with somebody that controlling. You need to finish hair school, go and do your thing. You done found your own place. You look like you are gonna be all right, but you got to get away from this. So her homegirl from the inside, Carla, called her and told her that Keurig had a whole attitude. She was, after their fight or whatever, basically confirming what Brittany already knew. But her friend Carla was like, "Well, there was like apparently a prison party." Oh god. So her friend Carla got into a fight at this prison party. Some chick and her boyfriend. Well, they were trying to harass Carla at the party, and she said, "Look, I just helped her to the door." And Keurig jumped in the fight and helped her. She said, "No, call Keurig to the phone right now. Call Keurig to the phone. I don't care." And she was like, "No, he's outside. He's exercising." And she was like, "Okay, never mind. Just leave him alone." And she was like, "But I don't want him to get in any trouble. He's almost getting out," so on and so forth, right? That's the conversation. Out of nowhere, Keurig's brothers come to Brittany's house, and they decide they're going to surprise her with a gift. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe they got her, a living room set for her new place or whatever. Maybe they got her some, stuff she would want. Keurig's brothers bring Brittany a surprise, so she was going to love this, which was a grill. A grill that you use outside. And let me tell you something, I love a good cookout. But that's not a gift for me. Okay? I'm going to need you to do better. Anyway, and they were making steaks. Now, let me tell you what my problem was. I ain't seen nobody wash their hands. They had they tongs, they tonsils, they had they stuff. The meat was seasoned. But between bringing the meat in the pan, opening it up, washing, seasoning, I did not see any hand washing. I'm trying to give y'all benefit of the doubt. But y'all need to take your ass inside and wash your hands. Anyway, so the brothers seem like they have potential to be good in-laws, okay? But they be doing Keurig's dirty work. Like, still feel like when they bring a grill out of nowhere to surprise her, it's still a way of kind of like watching her, right? Like, we're going to pop up on her and see if she's doing something. So, I don't know. Keurig sent her $300 in cash. Apparently, he has some investment in some laundry room service. Tell me how I can get in, but shit, we all know it's probably like fucked up money anyway. Because I guarantee when Keurig get out, he ain't going to have no job. Watch. But he got all this money while he in jail because other chicks are probably sending it to him. Anyway, so when Keurig called on the phone, she asked him, she was like, "Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the $300. Why the $300? He was like, "I want you to go find yourself something nice, whatever." So when Keurig called, she asked him about the fight that Carla had told him about. Keurig gaslit the fuck out of her. And was like, "Why would you just believe anything anybody said about me?" Right? Ignoring the actual fight. I ain't getting no... Like, he didn't really answer that part, right? I was like, motherfucker. She has the right to ask you something that y'all have a mutual friend on. Especially since your homie EB was following her around, showing up at her job and shit. Fuck you. You can't even answer a basic question about a fight. Fights happen in jail all the time. Don't pull it. Then Brittany was like, "Well, why would Carla make something like this up?" First of all, I don't know whether Carla was lying or not. First of all, I do think they got into a fight, but it couldn't have been that bad because Keurig, if the next day Keurig was out there exercising and shit, he couldn't have done it that bad. He wasn't in the hole. But it did sound the way Carla described it, like he got his ass whooped, so maybe he didn't want to know. Anyway, so maybe he was a little embarrassed to tell her. But the way Keurig acts, for all we know, he could have told Carla to tell her some crazy story like that to see if she would believe it. We don't know. But girl, you in danger. Because that kind of person sitting around plotting to manipulate you and control you, fuck that shit. You've been able to pull this off while working your job, getting through hair school, and hair is good business. Okay? Hair is good business, especially for women. You gonna be alright. But get out of this while you can. These relationships are a hot ass mess. And these people ain't even home yet. Fuck them. Okay? And you may be Latino, but you look white enough to where you can go down there and get some restraining orders and the judge will believe you, okay? You ain't got to worry about that. All right, so finally we get to Letitia and Keith. I don't know if it's Letitia or Letitia. I never listened long enough. All right, so Letitia comes home from her jail visit that her 6-year-old and 14-year-old know about. And they stay with their aunt. Their aunt is, at best, their step aunt because it is her prison husband's aunt. So this is not somebody that is connected to them through the maternal line. I don't care how close you are, Letitia, to that woman. You don't leave your kids with just anybody. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how cool you think you are. You fucking up. You're fucking up. All right? So then the two girls come down and embrace her. And as soon as she comes in from the jail visit, she called Keith as soon as she got in the fucking door. And she's been away from her kids. She said she needed reassurance. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so she needed reassurance after her friend told her about the baby mama plot. And I told you can't trust no friend like that. Because she talking to you and then she talking to her and you don't know what's getting mixed up and all this other old stuff. And she said, she is talking to this man on a speakerphone, by the way, okay, in front of her children about some bitches. And she's like, I don't want to have to deal with this, that, and the other. Okay, maybe you don't, but you need to get at an ear range, earshot, so these kids will have a better example. You already married a man in prison, okay, that you met while he was in prison, who is neither one of these girls' fathers. All right, so she has her youngest on the phone with him. And, 6-year-olds have, good imaginations. A 14-year-old has grown out of that. So we get the 14-year-old. She's not here for the relationship. And doesn't want to talk to this invisible ninja in jail over the phone. I don't blame her. She is at an age, she's 14, at an age where it is difficult. Anyway, you're going through puberty for the first time. You're going through middle school, that crazy phase. You don't really know what's happening with your body, your mind, your emotions are up and down. You're learning how to navigate it. You're learning to deal with boys. You really need that parental support, especially from your mother. And now she has this whole man who, despite being in jail, takes away this time that her daughter needs. And that's how a lot of young girls end up in trouble. That's why I say she's fucking up. It's a touchy age anyway. You have to be careful raising girls at that age. And boys too, but especially girls. So she takes them, she says she has a surprise them, she takes them to an arcade like Dave and Buster's or something like that. So Letitia, instead of asking her daughter Naraya, that's the 14-year-old, how she feels about Keith, I was like, instead of asking her that, why don't you ask these people at the damn bowling alley to put up the bumpers for the 6-year-old so her damn bowling ball don't keep going in the gutter? Like, see, that's what you should have been concentrating on. Because that's going to hurt that little girl's self-esteem. She ain't going to never learn how to bowl. Anyway, so then the girl is talking to the camera crew in more detail than she was to her mother. Because her mother was like, look, I'm not trying to force a relationship on you. But at the same time, I am because he's my husband. And just the fact that you say he's my husband as opposed to he's my husband and now you're a stepfather already implies there is a great deal of distance. Not to mention, you say he got 4 other kids? Letitia, bitch. I feel like you the type that got a prison guy because you felt like you would always know where he was at. And after watching this show, we all know they still cheat. Anyway, Letitia, you fucking up. All right, so Keith is sending Letitia flowers and stuffed animals. We see it during like the little commercial break or whatever. And she's talking about how much he spoils her and she can only imagine what it will be when he gets out. Girl, it won't be that. Because he'll have other shit to do, like them 4 other fucking kids he got to take care of. And you need to worry about the emotional health of your children, particularly the 14-year-old. Because she has already clearly been exposed to too much when her response is that what she doesn't want is for her mother to be hurt again. And you said yourself, she has watched me put up with different stuff from men. So now let me give her some more trauma. What the hell? Then we get Letitia going to get a ring. Now, for people who are already married, and that didn't look like no set of wedding bands, she decides she wants a ring. And I, for some reason, just knew I had misheard her when she was in the car with her sister. And so she said, well, Keith gave me a budget for their ring. He saved up a lot of money, whatever. And she said, but I told him I'm not gonna be wearing no cheap $5,000 ring. Okay. Granted, I don't have a whole lot of money. But when did a $5,000 ring become cheap? No, I really am curious. I really want to know when that became cheap. Y'all dabbling in some. And when I heard her say that, I said, bitch, I hope your girls have trust funds and certainly a 529 savings plan for college. And everything is already shored up and taken care of. Because if you spending if you consider $5,000 on a ring cheap, then I know $30,000 that you wanted to spend, you must already have that airtight for the first year of college. Girl, don't pull it. Don't pull it. So she's looking at rings and she sees one that's nice, but she was like, ooh, $2,100. No, we're not here for cheapies. I said, bitch, you need to go get you an NBA player if we're going to be having an attitude like this. So I was like, girl, bye. The ring she chose was like a little over $15,000. And she was like, it's perfect. So the woman spoke to her about financing options if she didn't want to pay it all that day. And she was like, my husband doesn't do finance. I was like, he don't do freedom neither. But anyway, the saleswoman was like, well, it's easier to get forgiveness than permission. And I was like, yeah, shit. Because she benefits from you making poor decisions. That's her commission. Her cousin, it's her cousin, not her sister. Her cousin was looking at her like, are you crazy? So what are you going to tell him? And Letitia, if you are going to get a $15,000 plus ring, this is what I'm going to need you not to be wearing. I'm going to need you not to be wearing furry house shoes with a heel. I'm going to need you not to be slurping on a drink with crushed ice in a glass. And I'm going to need you not to have a purse that simply lists Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these other label names on the purse as opposed to the purse being like a designer purse. Like, that's what I'm going to need you not to do, okay? And if my broke ass can know not to do it, you should too. Anyway, I had fun talking to you guys about this. Hopefully I'll be feeling better over the next couple of days. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share, put your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.